Okay, good morning. John Jones here. Welcome to Winning Edge Wednesdays, hosted by our podcast, Full Pipelines and Full Hearts. I love that. And of course, powered by BAI. Here at BAI, as you guys know, we really love the idea of momentum, don't we? And for good reason. When ambitious people are pursuing a meaningful goal, and making progress. Research shows that's when we are at our best. That's when we are our happiest and healthiest. We literally change our biochemistry inside towards more health when we are making progress towards something meaningful and purposeful. That's really what this is about. And also, let's face it, momentum just makes it easier, doesn't it? You get that boulder pushing it up a hill, but once you get that boulder over the edge and it starts to roll, success becomes easier. And of course, who doesn't love that when you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor when you've created momentum? Then, of course, particularly in our industry, and especially in today's fast-paced, mega competitive world, momentum just starts to create this synergy, starts attracting success. Nothing succeeds like success. Very true. So momentum is huge. And a couple of weeks ago, we talked about a similar concept called the winning edge theory, which states that there's a disproportionate return, disproportionate benefit for being just a little bit better. And winners really understand that. We use a sports analogy of Major League Baseball as a great example. If somebody gets 2 hits out of every 10, they have a 200 batting average. That's good, but their career is not going to really escalate to the heights. They're going to have maybe a 2 or 3 year career making the league minimum. But great example, Aaron Judge, New York Yankees is an example, leading the league right now with a 340 batting average, which means he's getting one more hit out of every 10 at bats. That's it. But because of that, boom, disproportionate return for being a little bit better when you're competing at a high level. This guy's, we're talking 30, 40, $50 million a year for getting one more hit. That's Major League Baseball. Look at our business. 1 out of 10 better as we get deep into the pipeline, extremely impactful. Heck, 1 out of 100 sometimes in the way that we might be marketing can make a huge difference. As a little better conversion rate in our business can create incredible momentum, additional cash flow, the attitudes, the way that we go about our business, everything starts to fire on all cylinders when we just start to have a little bit more success. So we know that returns can be exponential when we improve a little bit. That's why we're always looking for the edge. That's why we're always engaged in learning together here at BAI. And that's what Winning Edge Wednesdays is all about. Today, I just want to take that premise and I want to pile something on top of it. And that is what happens when you take this idea of the winning edge and add consistency over time, patience and persistence with that. Now we activate other laws of exponential returns even greater. And this requires such extraordinary mental toughness, you guys. That's why I have so much respect for you and how you guys go about your business. We're in an industry where the sales cycle is long, results can be delayed, and conversion rates are low as well based upon the nature of our business and the high commissions that we are going after. And man, there's no instant gratification. You have to have incredible mental toughness to keep plugging away and sustain that effort until the results start to come in. I want to share this idea with you that a lot of thought leaders are sharing. Tony Robbins uses this line a lot, but here I want you to just really absorb this principle. And it's this: we all tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in the short term, and we grossly underestimate what we could accomplish in a longer term. And being more specific, a lot of people look at about 1 to 5 years. We tend to really overestimate what we're going to do in year 1. But at the same time, we grossly underestimate what we could accomplish in year 5. And it shows that I use that metaphor of pushing a boulder up a hill. Sometimes the beginning, that freshman year, is just not really exciting, but it's just that 5-year span with persistence. Something just happens. I did a little research. I was curious. Amazon, the company, which you all know, year 1, you guys, year 1, Amazon, $500,000 in sales, but a net loss of $303,000, right? So year 1, Amazon losing $303,000. They didn't really start hitting profits till about year 6, 7, 8 at Amazon. That's just making a profit. But let's fast forward a little bit of persistence and consistency, sticking with it. Not a lot of hype in year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2024, you guys, check this out. 2024, last year, $638 billion in sales. That number is crazy. By the way, a 95% increase from just the 1 year prior, a $60 billion net income. Then, of course, people go, that's Amazon, John. What are we talking about? I run a consultancy from my home. I get it, of course, but I just don't want you to dismiss this principle that is at work, and it's all around us in very practical applications. I'd like you to meditate on it and really see what it means to you. I'll give you some examples I was thinking about. First year of college. I don't know, sometimes first year of college is just kind of a blur. You figure out where to park, get to where you need to get to your classes, and you figure out which bars the freshmen could go into. First year of college, that's what that's about. But you know what? Year 4, year 5 in college, you could be a graduate student interning at your dream company. That's a big difference. Year 1, year 4, year 5, right? In real estate, I've seen this many times. First year in real estate, man, sometimes I've seen agents first year in real estate, all they do is they list their brother-in-law's house. Your brother-in-law has some rental property and he lets you sell it just out of pity, right? But you know what? I've seen real estate agents, all of a sudden, that same person, year 4, year 5, leading the state in listings, getting to the point where I'm sorry, I can't help you with your listing your condo. I'm going to have my assistant protege help you with your condo listing. I've seen that kind of turnaround in just 4 or 5 years. Something happens there, right? In 1 year, you can get physically fit. Year 5, you could be Mr. Universe. There's something about that persistence to those next years in many cases. One of my great friends went to the United States Air Force Academy, and he told me, man, John, I wanted to quit so bad that first year. Oh my gosh. But I tell you, after the first year, they actually stopped bullying you. So he said, so that was good. But I tell you what, year 4, year 5, you are a respected officer in the United States Air Force, and you get the ability to go to the best assignments in the country. It's really an amazing, and I got an education that is just unbelievable if you're willing to stick it out. Harvard researcher Malcolm Gladwell, a best-selling author, coined a principle about 10,000 hours. He said this, basically through the research and all different types of things, whether it's the Beatles performing live in front of audiences, or whether it's programmers spending time in front of the computer, or whether it's presenters and consultants spending time in front of clients, if you amass 10,000 hours of purposeful practice, you will be elite in your field. Now, by the way, that kind of boils down to something like 5 hours a day for 5 years, right? 5 hours a day for 5 years. Man, that's flat out getting after it with some unbelievable mental toughness. But if we do that in virtually any field, music, athletics, so forth, as long as we meet certain basic qualifying criteria and we practice and sustain that kind of consistency as we develop our business, we will be elite within 10,000 hours. And I guess the question is, was that worth it? My good friend, Brandon Clifford, a great example. 5 years ago, he gets involved in franchise development for a brand. Sure, he had a great first year. He probably didn't anticipate that within 5 years, he's going to be CEO of BAI. Pretty awesome. Things happen. right? I'll share with you guys a story. I had a conversation with a guy named Brian Tracy, expert sales speaker, trainer, author, and so forth. And I had an opportunity to drive Brian to the airport after a seminar we did together. And I was a young man. I was in my mid-20s, and he shared this analogy with me. He said, John, said in your career and business, think of a buffet. He says, everybody's hungry, so everybody gets in line at the buffet, at the start of the buffet. And you stand in line and you start stepping into the buffet. And of course, the beginning of the buffet, you got utensils, plates, napkins, and those hard, cold rolls in the beginning, and then maybe some iceberg lettuce for the salad coming up next, right? So what people happen is they get into this buffet line and they're standing there and they're kind of getting bored standing there and thinking that the grass is greener somewhere else, especially smart people always trying to find the right thing at the right time. And they're like interested. What's going on in that buffet line over there? That buffet line over there looks like it's moving a little bit faster. I'm getting out of this buffet line. I'm going to go get into this other buffet line. Looks like it's moving quicker. And they continue to do that. He says, you know what? They keep just getting to the cold rolls. But somebody else, a little bit more stick to itness, a little bit more grit, they just stay in that buffet line and they just keep stepping. And eventually those people get to the end of the buffet line while other people just keep going to the beginning of more and more buffet lines, repeating their freshman year over and over again. And he said, of course, John, at the end of the buffet line, that's where the guy with the white hat is slicing prime rib off the bone, right? And that's where the rewards are, just sticking to it, right? People who keep trying to find a better buffet line oftentimes don't maximize their potential. But the one who keeps stepping, can get the rewards, and the rewards, of course, are exponential. I wanted to share some of this with you. I thought this is really interesting. I was doing some research on technology, and our greatest minds today in technology and our innovators, they are blown away by exponential growth that they're seeing in their industry and their field. What sustained innovation can do, and they say that it's really hard to conceptualize exponential growth, particularly in the technology field. They'll tell you our iPhone has as much computing power as the first space shuttle. He says computation power has doubled 32 times since we started with our initial computers, you guys. We've doubled 32 times. And you guys know when you double something 32 times, it's a pretty big number. One of the concepts that these guys were talking about I thought was really cool. They called it adjacent possible. They said one of the reasons why we're experiencing exponential returns in technology is what they call adjacent possible. What that means is simultaneous adjacent innovations all taking place and then all contributing, right? So they create a tool, a breakthrough, and then that tool and breakthrough ends up creating 100 other opportunities and innovations that spawn from that. While somebody's finding a more efficient way, someone's finding a less costly way, as an example. And this is happening. Our great minds all over the world are working on these innovations simultaneously, and therefore the returns, the exponential growth and progress is hard to even wrap our mind around, because that's how human beings operate. Okay, what about us? Is there adjacent possible in our industry over 3, 4, 5 years? If you plug away and learn and innovate and then purposeful, learn and apply and learn and improve, and you sustain that effort for 4 or 5 years, what are the adjacent possible? What are the simultaneous improvements that are taking place? And what can that mean to our sales results, our income, and the people that we impact? Better at posting ads and managing your advertising budget and flow, right, and return. Getting better at networking simultaneously. One contract brings you adjacent contacts and networks and relationships, right? You build a relationship with somebody, and that relationship gives you access to another network you didn't have access to before, right? So you get an exponential capacity of your network of the community that you're building. You're getting a little bit better at social media and leveraging that, a better feel for the franchisor relationships that you have. I've talked to our experienced brokers, man, the relationships that they have with the franchisors is much deeper than people who are just starting out. So that is all taking place simultaneously. You get better at qualifying candidates, right? Better at coaching, inspiring entrepreneurs. You find that art, that balance between inspiring people to take action towards their dreams, but without being pushy, and doing it for their reasons and helping them get to where they want to go through franchising. Simultaneously, adjacent possible, you're improving in all these ways. And when those things all come together, we are talking about the opportunity to double results, right? Think about it. More opportunities, better at conversion rates, and getting higher, more robust commissions. Those three things all happening simultaneously because of the adjacent possible areas that you're innovating and constantly improving upon over time. It's pretty awesome. What happens if we double? Think about it. One of the reasons why we talk about this, we overestimate what we could do in year 1, but we underestimate what we could do in year 5. Because here's what happens. Doubling in the beginning is just not that exciting. Year 1, you get involved in this business, and let's say you have 1 deal. Okay. Year 2, we double that. That's 2. Ugh, right? That's just 2. But then year 3, we double that. That's 4. Now you're in the game. Now what happens? We double that. Year 4, we're at 8 transactions, right? Year 5, we're at 16 transactions. Year 6, you double that, you're at 32 transactions, right? You guys, adjacent possibility, activate these principles and forces. We overestimate what we can do in 1 year. We overestimate what we can do in the short term. We underestimate what we can accomplish in the long term. You guys, stay the course. Your mental toughness and your grit will pay off. God's delays are not God's denials. Of course, it's not about just hanging around in the business over time. It's about purposeful pursuit of learning and doing and innovating and getting better, sustained over time. And the results are exponential. Doing the work, doing the learning, you guys, right? Just wanted to share this with you. Hopefully get some juices firing and realizing what you could accomplish here, you guys. It's all about having those full pipelines, which brings us full hearts, and that's when we really are on fire and impact people's lives. And thank you guys so much for spending a few minutes with me here today. Look forward to celebrating your successes that are going to come from the consistency, the mental toughness, from just sticking with it and following your passion. I have so much admiration and respect for the work that you guys do. Look forward to our next conversation. And I look forward to spending some one-on-one time with you, talking about your business and how we can help you get to where you want to go faster. Have a great day, everybody.